What highly unlikely event have you experienced? Being covered in volcanic ash in 1980 when Mt. St. Helens erupted. I was on my early morning paper route. Pulled over on my driving test. We found our family dog after about 3.5 years. Was stolen and was living 2 miles down the road. Saw ball lightning. Cloud-to-cloud strike happened right over the house, and this little ball came down and skipped over the sidewalk incredibly fast. Afterwards there were little scorch marks where the ball hit. My stepdad and I found a wallet one time and returned it to the guy's house. Months later, I lost my cell phone and someone found it and called my parents via my emergency contacts. We meet up to pick it up, and it's the guy whose wallet we had returned. I'm the 34th in vitro baby in the Midwest. Born with red hair and blue eyes, and 4 kidneys. The odds of all those happening together are very small. Edit. Unfortunately, I cannot donate them, as they are half the size and attached to the first set. I had 8 wisdom teeth, though it's not as highly unlikely as I thought when I had them removed, lol. I did have a fantastic recovery, however, which is more than I can say for other people I know. My friend moved from Virginia Beach to southern Florida, and 4 years later I drove down for a visit. He was worried before I left, because he hadn't heard from his girlfriend, who was already supposed to be back from her business trip to DC. This was pre-cell phone days, so communication was way more difficult on the road. I slept in a hotel parking lot on the FLGA border and woke up to a woman tapping on the window asking where I was headed. I told her. She said that was one town over from her. She asked for a ride, so I took her and dropped her off. About an hour after getting to my friend's house, his GF shows up. Same person. Her car had broken down just up the street from the hotel, and the shop she had it towed to said they couldn't get to it for a few days. Small ass world. Helicopter crash. Twice. FML. Was at air show in Germany and a jet crashed into the crowd. I still have night terrors about it occasionally, and I haven't been to an air show since. A woman and her daughter came into the store I worked at. Her daughter was a year older than my daughter and had the same uncommon name. That's not the weird part. The really weird part is later that same day my daughter and I were in a different state over an hour away from my job at a Walmart, and we ran into the same woman and her daughter. It was just strange. Hit the major jackpot on a slot machine one time. That was pretty cool. I stumbled upon my long-lost best friend from school while wandering through a foreign market. Not me, but my twin. We grew up hunting for arrowheads and shark teeth along the riverbed by our house growing up. Both of us had quite the collection. One day while hunting, my brother found half a sand tiger shark tooth, split right down the middle, and then found the other half several years later, lol. When he found it, we both joked that it must be the other half of that perfect half tooth he found once, till we got home and tried it. Seamless fit. I have only attended 7 Major League Baseball games in my life. 2 of them were no-hitters. Kinda NSFW, but one day last year I was looking at this one guy's 18 Twitter page. You know, doing some NSFW things myself. I knew he was from my city, but being one of the largest cities in America, that pretty much meant nothing for me. He's just some guy who shows himself off on Twitter. Anyway, it was the weekend. I had some friends visiting town, so we decided to go out to clubs that night. I messaged another friend who lived nearby the clubs if he wanted to come meet us. He agrees to come through, and lo and behold, he brings that Twitter guy. Apparently they'd recently become friends and happened to be hanging out. I didn't mention that I knew who he was, of course, but I started talking to him and we ended up going home together that night. There's your copium that it can happen. I died. When I got shot several years ago, I technically died en route to the trauma center. Bless those paramedics, they quite literally moved heaven and earth to keep me here. Not me, but my brother has been struck by lightning 3 times. Saw a giant black triangle fly over my parents' home in the forest. Completely silent. Low and absolutely massive. Double train crash. My fear lives on.